Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining our webinar today. My name is Fatima Habib, and I work with the marketing team at Lemonade Finance. I'm going to give a quick presentation to introduce Lemonade Finance, what we have to offer, and what our users have to benefit from us. And then we're going to dive straight into our session for the day. All right. If you can see my screen, please, can you just raise your hand?
Yes, we can.
Okay, awesome. All right, thank you. So Lemonade Finance was, we were founded back in 2020, and we launched in Canada and Nigeria. And what the goal we had was to simplify the process for Africans in the diaspora to send money back home. Currently, we're licensed in the UK, the US, and Canada, and we support Africans in 10 different countries, including Ghana, Rwanda, Tanzania, Uganda, Nigeria, Kenya, Benin, Cameroon, Ivory Coast, and Senegal. Some of the things that we are really proud of at Lemonade Finance is the ease of using our app and the security, our rates, and how instant our transfers are. Also, using Lemonade Finance comes at zero cost. So like whatever you see is what you get basically. So we don't have like a transfer fee that we add onto what you send back home. Currently, you can get Lemonade Finance on Google Play Store or App Store. You can download Lemonade Finance on Google Play Store or App Store. I'm going to very quickly open the chat box. Can you please type where you are joining? Can you please type where you are joining from? I'm currently in the UK, and I believe Toyyib is also in the UK.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, okay. Okay. So for those of you who are joining our webinar for the first time, or for those of you who are returning to our webinar, you may know who Mr. Toyyib is. So he's a personal development coach, and he's a project engineer and planner based in the UK, and he has over a decade of industry experience. So this already promises to be a really engaging, session, because it would be him just bringing everything that he knows from working in the industry over this decade. If you do not follow Toyyib on Twitter, this is his handle. He shares gems there. He is constantly sharing gems on Twitter. So I would advise that you follow him on Twitter, and you can always he would always leave something there for you to pick from and for you to learn from. I'm going to, also I should add that, awesome, wonderful. I should add that if you're joining from the UK and you do not have an account on Lemonade Finance, please download the app, please sign up on the app and use the referral code webinar. And if you use the referral code webinar and make a transaction from £100 and above, in the next, I think here I put 48 hours, but it's actually 1 week. I haven't edited this. In the next week, you stand a chance to win £50. So please, if you don't have an account, make sure you sign up on Lemonade Finance and send money back home. And when you sign up, do not forget to use the referral code webinar to make your transaction of £100 and above. I'm going to hand over to Mr. Toyyib now to take over and blow all our minds. All right. Thank you.
Hey, I'm just trying to set up the slide now.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
Thank you very much, Fatima, for the introduction. Thank you to everyone that has joined in. It will be a very, very engaging session. We'll try and cover as much as possible in the slides, but at the same time as well, we know that there are some specific questions that will be related to different people at different stages. So we try and cover the slides as fast as possible for the general idea of how things work. and then we'll take each and everyone's questions as much as we can. Fatima always do something wonderful for us in terms that the slides goes out as well. So if you are attending the webinar, there is a huge chance that you'll be getting the slide as well and the links that are on it so that you can take advantage of it in your own time and do your own research as well. So thank you so much for joining us. And somehow today is my birthday as well. So, but this is why I
like birthday, by the way.
So I just like this kind of opportunity, like sharing as much information as possible. I was, before I jump into the slide, I was actually looking at a data today, and that data was very, very shocking. The data was from CITB, and CITB is the Construction Industry Training Board. And CITB was saying that, was talking about the diversity in the UK construction industry, that about 90% of the people that work in UK construction industry are white, 90%. And we are talking about an industry that employs about 2.5 to 3 million people here in the UK. That means we have a shortage of people from our background in that industry. So which makes it important for us, if we are like really, really eager to come in and try and break into the industry, open more way for people that are coming, you know, maybe for our children, or just to make it more representative, like let's come in as much as possible, get the skills, get the opportunity, and it is very, very financially rewarding. I'm not going to lie, if you are able to stick into it and stay as much as you can. I'm going to do some live demonstrations as well. I'll go into the websites that I normally use. You'll see how I normally search for work. You see how the things that the employers are looking for, then you'll be able to have an idea of the things you need to do. So thank you so much for joining in, and hopefully we can make it worth your time, because it is very, very loaded, the information we'll be sharing this evening. Thank you. So I'll jump into the slide straight away. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can.
All right, okay, let's make a start. Okay, so welcome to the webinar. It's a one-on-one session. We'll get through as much as possible how to transition into the UK construction industry. And let's go straight in. I'm Toyyib Adelodun, as Fatima said earlier. I grew up in Lagos, Nigeria. I've been living in the UK for about 15 years now. I've worked in construction for more than 10 years. I started out as a laborer, actually. It was a very, very funny story. I was unemployed that time, so I went to see my barber to have a haircut. So I was telling him I'm unemployed, I'm looking for work. And he said, the guy that stood up not long ago was actually talking about some construction work. But he said the work is very, very hard. That am I going to be able to do it? I said, look, I'm unemployed. I can do anything. So he said, okay, let me give him your number. And that's another tip as well. You see, the barber shop, the hairdressing salon in this country can lead to so many, many contacts if you know how to work your way around it. Those people have loads of information that go around, especially in this UK, particularly the immigrant community. So that was how I started. I started out as a laborer. And one thing about me is I'll always ask questions. So when I got in, they were paying us about £6 an hour. And when we change, you know, when we go on break, I see different people that are doing different things. And I'm asking them, what do you do? This one is saying, I'm an electrician. This one is saying, I'm a chippy, like a carpenter. This one is saying, I'm a plumber. And I'm asking, how much do you earn? And they're saying, I'm earning £15 an hour. I'm earning £17 an hour. I'm earning £20 an hour. So that started clicking in my head, like, what do I need to do to increase like my earnings in this industry? So I started reading up on courses, on things like that. so that I can figure out what is best for me to do. So I started up as a laborer, and gradually from laborer to I cleaned the toilets as well. I did so many things. Then I worked as an assistant to engineers. And then from then on, I went back to school as well to do some more qualifications. And I got into project engineering. And in total, I've worked on projects with a combined value of over £1 billion. I was fortunate to work on the Crossrail, which is the Elizabeth line. I worked on 2 stations there, and also worked on the HS2, the high-speed rail 2, that has just started now. I worked on the enabling works and demolition. So having spent about 10 years in the industry, about 15 years here in the UK, I just felt it would be very good if I'm sharing as much of the experience I had so that people can also benefit from it, you know, grow themselves and just let us just be as good as we can be, and then enjoy this country together. So how big is the UK construction industry? The industry employs about, I mean, depending on the research you are looking at, about 2.5 to 3.1 million people. That's up to about 10% of the UK workforce. The UK workforce is about 40 million. If you look at similar economies as well, like the US, the EU, Australia, New Zealand, you will observe the same, that construction, even if you look at China, construction is very, very big in this industry, in these countries, very, very big. Like I was speaking to someone that was telling me about how much like laborers or plumbers or electricians earn in Australia, and it's even way, way more than what we earn here. And I'm just thinking, wow, if you go to the US as well, they earn really, really well, those that work in construction. So, I mean, I used to tell people in this country, it's not about like white collar, you know, the way we do in Africa, where the people that work in the bank earn the most money. You know, here you could see a plumber that earns as much as a senator. You know, if you look at the senator's wage, the MP here in the UK, their wage is about, say, £100,000. There was one article one time of a plumber that was doing about £150,000. And that was actually shocking. But that is the kind of money that people can earn in UK construction. So the industry value in terms of GDP is about 110 billion per annum. And according to CITB, there will be the need for about 225,000 extra workers to meet the UK construction industry demand, you know, by now, from now to 2027. So the demand is there. It's just being able to understand how can we get in and how can we take advantage of these opportunities. Okay, so what are the earning potential in the industry? You know, your knowledge and your experience, just as it is in so many other places, your knowledge and your experience will determine what you will earn. But I can tell you, I mean, like I said, I started back as a laborer back then with around £6 an hour. Today, laborers are earning about 12 to 15 pounds an hour. I mean, you can just go on CV Library, just type in construction laborer, you see the wages that come at you. 15 pounds, 12 pounds an hour. If you're an experienced electrician, experienced bricklayer, a plumber, a site engineer, a surveyor, quantity surveyors, welders, crane drivers, they go home with in the region of around 20 pounds an hour, the experienced one. So it's an industry where the blue collar role is well compensated. And it's also very busy as well. You know, a lot of sites, they do 10 hours a day, 5 days a week. And when the program ramps up and it is busy, maybe there's a huge deadline, you see people doing, you know, Saturday and Sunday, they'll be doing day shift, back shift, night shift, just to make sure they get the job done. So there is a lot of opportunities, once you are able to break that yoke and get in, because that is always the big issue, getting in and getting that position. Hopefully we'll be able to shed more light on that. So how do you get into the industry? So a lot of people ask, how can I get into the construction industry? But one thing we must get to know is that the level of education you have now, or the kind of skills you've acquired already, that is what will determine how you are going to get into the industry. So if you have no skill at all, you know, maybe you want to come in as a laborer, or maybe you are like an international student that you want to make extra money, let's say, because construction is very, very busy. A lot of international students, they come in and say, I want to come into construction, I want to come into construction. But it is an industry, like I said, that is always like 10 hours a day, 5 days a week, even weekend shifts. So what I normally tell international students is that whilst you are in school, while the session is on in school, try and get your card then, your CSCS card, try and acquire that card then. So that, like now, as we are walking into the summer holiday, where you have like a 8 or 10 weeks break, if you start looking for your positions now and you have your card in, as soon as the holiday sets in, you are able to work, you know, throughout those 2 months, and you are able to earn well. But if you are not yet, I mean, if you haven't acquired those cards, those training, position yourself ready, you will not be able to take advantage of that, that long summer to get some shifts under your belt. So even if you've had construction experience from Nigeria, let's say you have like a degree in construction, it is an opportunity for you to get your, I mean, as a laborer, you need a green card. As someone that is qualified already, you need a white card. So when you get that card, you get it ready, then during your holidays, you can work and get some experience under your belt, meet people in the industry, I mean, network in the industry. And then when you are now trying to look at, okay, where can I do my post-study work visa, or how can I get a skilled worker visa, you already know people in there that can help you with knowledge, you know, those kind of things. It's always very, very good to prepare yourself for it. So construction is split into different angles. So there are some people that work in the office. Let's say those that design, you know, the design people, the architects, a lot of them work in the office. We are not putting a lot of attention to that now. We would take questions on them if they come, but we are talking more of people that work on site. Now, okay, to gain access into construction site, you need the minimum of a CSCS card. So that CSCS card is like the construction scheme. That card, if you don't have that card, you cannot access the site. Even if you are working in the office, sometimes you may have to visit site, in the sense that visit site to do some scan, to do some meetings, to take some drawings and things like that. You still need that CSCS card to be able to get into construction site. So there are different types of cards, like I said, depending on your competency and the skills that you've had before. We've talked about the green card, which is the laborer's card, and then the white card for the academically qualified person, which is someone that has, let's say, a degree or HND or HNC, you know, or a diploma that is related to construction. Those are the people that are called the academically qualified person. So those people will apply for the white card. So there are now 2 things we need to take advantage of. We need to take note of. I think further on in the slide, I put it there on the note, but I just want to put some words to it now. If your existing qualification, for example, is from Nigeria or from Ghana or from Ivory Coast, whatever existing qualification you had, let's say you come here to the UK to do your master's, for example, and you want to get that white CSCS card. That means the degree you have is from back home. You will need to evaluate that degree. You know, there is a company called UK NARIC this UK NARIC. The link is further down during the slide, in the slide. So you need to evaluate that transcript with UK NARIC. So once you evaluate it, then you will now apply for the wide CSCS card. UK NARIC will charge you a fee for doing that, which you'll find on their website. And then you can now apply for the wide CSCS card. So in terms of the type of cards that you need, I have put the link here, CSCS UK / applying for cards and type of cards. So you see all the cards that are there, the trainee card, the green card, the white card, the black card, all the things you need to do to apply for each card, you see it in that link there. A lot of people now, they go and apply for the trainee card. That is the red card, because it doesn't have a lot of requirements. I want to implore you to please apply for the green card at least, because with the green card, you've done the one-day health and safety training, you've done the CSCS test, and you've applied for the card. If you go and get the trainee card, a lot of recruitment agencies will see you as a JJC, and then they will not want to give you the job that you are looking for. So please don't take the shortcut and go and apply for the trainee card, and then you need someone to take you onto site and things like that. It just makes life a little bit difficult. So apply for the green CSCS card. There is nothing like they expect a laborer to do that you will not be able to do. You are not a specialized laborer or a demolition laborer or asbestos laborer. You are just a general laborer. So that shouldn't give you any problems in terms of looking for work. So that is the link for applying the card. And then the other, this one here is talking about the alliances that CSCS as an organization have with other organizations. CSCS is the general body that looks after construction safety scheme, and then you now have other bodies like the Electrotechnical Certification Scheme, which is the ECS. That is the body that trains electricians, okay? And then you have the JIB, the Joint Industry Board for the plumbing, mechanical, and engineering services. That is the body that trains, that certifies people that do plumbing. You'll also see other alliances there, like scaffolding. You also see other alliances there, like asbestos removal. You see several alliances. That's why I have put that link there, so that you are able to see all the alliances that you can have with CSCS. So if you are an electrician, for example, you will not have the general CSCS card. You will have the card that has the logo of CSCS, that also have the logo of ECS, which is the Electrotechnical Certification Scheme. So what you will now do as that kind of person is to go to the ECS website and find out what you need to do to come into site as a trainee electrician or as a qualified electrician. You see all the links in that in this place. So you see the alliances, and then you can go to each organization's website, maybe the JIB or the ECS or the scaffolding. You now go to their site and see what the requirements that they need if you want to work on site as an electrician. If you want to work on site as a scaffolder, if you want to work on site as a plumber. So those are the kind of things that you need to check. So you have two websites that you're looking at. Number one is the CSCS website. And then number two is the organization that looks after the skill that you have. And you will see those organizations when you look at this link that has the CSCS Alliance. So you see the card there that talks about the plumbing. You see the card there that talks about the electrician. Then you can now go to that ECS website and check, what do you need to get the electrician's card? What do you need to get the electrician mate's card, which is the assistant to the electrician? You get those information there. So to apply for those cards, you need the organization's training or the equivalent. Let's say you've gotten some training from Nigeria. In this country, the way we do it back home, for example, people who have this experience. People who just turn up at your house and they say, okay, this guy is an electrician. For a lot of times, you don't know what training they did to become an electrician. They just say this is an electrician, and then you take it like that. In this country, it is very, very different. People have NVQ, which is called National Vocational Qualification. So if you have skills as an electrician before, and you have not yet turned that skill into certification, you can look for colleges that can help you do at least NVQ 2. You know, get that NVQ, because that NVQ is one thing that is universal in this country. You can't really get in as a tradesman if you don't have NVQ. Now, that is a tradesman. We are talking about electrician, plumbing, and things like that. We are not talking about engineers. With engineers, it is quite different, because if you get your training from school, if you get a certificate from school, you can always use those certificates to apply. We'll shed more light on it as we get on. So there are other trainings as well that increases your profile in the industry. We'll look at job search, and then you'll be able to see some things that are quite regular in terms of what the employers are looking for. So one of them is the SMSTS. Another one is the 3-day first aid. Like I said there, I will show some demonstration, and then you'll be able to have an idea of what we are talking about. And also, when people are asking questions, a lot of questions reveal much more than we are even covering now. So we'll take that on as well. So this is just a small and brief idea of how to get the green card and the white card. So like I said before, don't go for anything less than the green card. Don't go for the red card, which is the training card. It's not going to really help you when you are looking for work. So that is the green card. That is the laborer's card. What you need to get that green card, you need a 1-day health and safety training. 1-day health and safety training. So there is a company that does a lot of trainings like that. I just put their name there, Gold Cross. Gold Cross Training, they call them. But you can also look at other training organizations that are around you. So if you just go on Google and say you want to do 1-day CSCS training, if you say 1-day CSCS training, you'll see a lot of companies that do it. I think it costs around about £100, that training. Don't let them charge you much more than that. It is around that range. That is the last time I checked. So Gold Cross Training, you do that 1-day health and safety training. You can check with every other organization, make sure you find the cheapest one possible. And then when you now go to CITB, this is the link where you're going to book the test. So you have to do a test. CITB is going to test you to see if you understand the safety trainings on a construction site. So they have an app where you can download the app, and the app gives you some revisions that you can get onto. But the training is meant to prepare you for the test. So if you do the training first and pass that 1-day health and safety training, they give you a small certificate, you should be able to pass the test. But if you think you need some more help, download that CITB app. You can find it on Google. Just put CITB CSCS and it will come up. So you will now do that test. Once you pass that test, then you order the CSCS card. And that is the link for where you can order the card. You sign up to the website, you put your certificate, you put it in to say you've qualified, and then you can now order the card. And once you get the card, that means you are good to go. You now have access to get into site as a laborer. As we move forward, we will talk about CVs. Laborers have CV in this country. It is not the one where you just turn up to site and say, I have a green card, and then you can start working. No, they expect you as a laborer to have some experience as well. So we will talk about that when we talk about CVs, how to build a CV with your experience and everything. So the white card is the academically qualified person card, like I said. So you need to evaluate your transcript if your qualification is outside the UK. So if your qualification is outside the UK, you need to evaluate your transcript and your certificate with UK NARIC. That's the website there, ECCTIS. So once they evaluate your transcript, you can just pick the phone and speak to them and say, look, I want to evaluate my transcript. I'm looking to apply for the white CSCS card. They'll send you the link of what to do. You do exactly, you pay their fee, and then they evaluate that transcript. And once you've evaluated your transcripts, that statement that they give you, you can now go ahead and do the manager's test. So there are two types of tests. The first test is the laborer's test. The second test is the managers and professionals test. So you'll have to do the managers and professionals test, and then you now apply for your white CSCS card. So let us keep a note on that. I'll just put that down. The MAP test. So you have to do that test, and then you apply for your white CSCS card. Okay, so now that you now have your card, the next thing is building your CV, looking for work, and you know, a lot of people will have different kind of things that they are planning to do. Some people are planning to work for the summer. Some people are planning to look for work that can lead to sponsorship. Some people are planning, you know, we have different type of ideas of what we want. But if I just share a very small example of how the construction industry works, there is a lot of paddy arrangement in UK construction. There is a lot of recruitment agencies, a lot. I don't think there's any industry that has like recruitment agencies in the UK like the construction agencies. There is a lot of them. So in some chances, you have the opportunity to work directly with a company. So let's say a company like Balfour Beatty, or let's say a company like Barratt Homes, they've put a position outside. You see that position, you apply for that position, and they're happy with your CV, you'll be able to work for them directly. But in a lot of instances, as you are trying to get in, let's say you don't have a lot of experience, maybe you are trying to get in as a laborer, all those big companies will not employ laborers directly. For example, they will just go to an agency and say, Randstad, Carmichael, all those agencies they use, technical recruitment, and say, look, we need 10 laborers to work with us for 2 months. Those agencies will now put the job out to say, we are looking for laborers. You know, they'll put the job ad on CV Library or Total Jobs or Indeed. Then you now apply to those jobs. So one thing you have to do is that the agencies, they are very, very strict when they are reviewing CVs, because they have a good relationship with all these clients, maybe Balfour Beatty, Morgan Sindall, all those big companies. So they have a very good relationship with them. They don't want to send people that will go there and mess up that relationship. So they will first of all screen those CVs before they even tell you to come and see them. So that's why a lot of people say, I've been sending CVs, I've not been seeing a lot of results. How are you constructing your CVs? What are the things that you are putting there? You need to be very, very aware of what these agencies are looking out for. Some people have a lot of experience, but they struggle to put that experience into bullet points on their CV. This is why I always urge people to try and read a lot of job descriptions. If you are looking for a job as an electrician, for example, go on CV Library, look for electrician, just type it in there, electricians. You will see a lot of roles that come at you. Open up those roles and read through the job descriptions. Sometimes you have a skill that you don't know how to put down, and then you see them explain it there and say, okay, let's say somebody does regular inductions, for example. Induction is what you do on every construction site. Even if you work in Nigeria, you do inductions. But if you don't put it down there to say, okay, I normally do regular inductions in my previous job, it will not jump at them to say that, okay, this guy can do this. So when you read a lot of job descriptions, you see that a lot of the skills you have already that maybe you don't even have a name for is right there in front of you. And then you say, okay, I can do this, I can do this. And that will help you to construct your CV in such a way that you are more competitive for these jobs. So please work on your CV as much as possible. The more experience you have, the more your chances of getting in and getting that job. Another thing that I normally do is that I normally ring agencies. I mean, I'm not sure people that follow my tweet must have seen a tweet that I did one time, and I wrote the numbers of agencies. I wrote about God knows how many. I normally ring them. They will tell me to come to their office. I'll go to their office. They will take my form. They will take my passport. They will take everything. And they will say, whenever we have a job, we will call you. Okay. You know, you want to do a lot of that. Don't be afraid of them saying no. It doesn't matter. Once you get your foot into the door, once one agency gives you the chance, you go into that job, you perform well, you pick a reference from that job because you've done very, very well. Sometimes you get to some jobs, you meet people like you close up with them, you learn from them, you get experience from them, you share your experience with them, and then you see it is those people that will even call you later on to say, oh, we got something here, are you available to work? And then you'll be able to join up. So don't be afraid of, don't hold yourself back. You know, I'll show you how you can see list of agencies that you call, send them your CV, but make sure you've already done a good work on that CV before you send it. So once you get on jobs, like I said, start making contacts for references and for future sponsorship role. The industry is very, very network driven. Some people go to pubs and they just seal deals at the pub. You know, do you know this guy that is coming? Yes, I know him. I've gotten someone a job before and they did not even ask him to submit his CV. I met the guy on Twitter. He just said he was looking for a job. And I said, look, a guy was calling me that he needed an engineer. And he said he should come down to site. And when he got to site, he said, you are from Ade? He said, yes. He said, if Ade sends you, you must be very good. And that was how the guy started work. Today, he works at Hinkley Point C, like probably the biggest nuclear power plant that is being built presently. That's where he's working. He went there straight away from this bricklaying job. So, like I said, there's a lot of network-driven alliances and giving people work in the construction industry. So please, once you get in, open up, talk to people, do well. You know, they're quite, I mean, I can't say everybody is nice and cheerful. You meet different kind of people, but manage relationships well, do your best, and you'll see that things will open up. Another thing as well is that when you sign up to websites like CV Library or Total Jobs, make sure you send notifications, you set your notifications on so that whenever they have jobs, whenever they have roles, they send it to your email, you know. And then when they send it to your email, you'll be one of the first to know, and then you can now apply straight away for those jobs. Okay, so websites to look for jobs, CV Library, Total Jobs, LinkedIn, Indeed, and then this website as well, Skills Provision. I've seen them put a lot of roles that have sponsorship in the last couple of weeks, like designing roles, different kind of roles that they've put forward that have sponsorship. So what I do on most of these places is just to search for sponsorship jobs. Some of them don't have sponsorship, which you can do. Let's say you are still a student now, or let's say you are on your post-study work visa, you can get into the industry, get like a year's experience under your belt, maybe like an assistant site manager or like a junior site engineer. Once you get that experience under your belt, from 1 year onwards, you start shooting to companies that can offer you sponsorship. Another thing as well is that there is a sponsors list, which we must not forget. So that's the skilled worker visa and the requirements for people that are looking to move on to sponsorship role. We must not forget this list of registered licensed sponsors. There are a lot of construction companies on that list. But one thing I found out is that some of them do not put out sponsorship roles to start with. So one good way to get hold of them is number one, cold emailing. Number two, working for them whilst you have the right to work. Let's say you work for them when you are on holidays, for example, or you work for them when you are using your post-study work visa. If you are able to get into those companies whilst you are doing your post-study work visa, you will be able to put yourself in the door and negotiate for a sponsorship role. Like companies like Balfour Beatty, companies like Randstad, companies like Morgan Sindel, a lot of them are on the sponsorship list. Skanska, Costain, they are all there, but they don't put out a lot of roles that have sponsorship. But if you can get in there, when you have the right to work, you'll be able to push the buttons, perform exceptionally well, and then you put yourself in a position where you can get those sponsorship roles. So a lot of people are students and they are thinking of, okay, how do we move on to the skilled worker visa? The first thing that you need to do, this list is very, very self-explanatory. You'll be able to get your 5-year working visa and then get your indefinite leave after. So your employer must be on the sponsor list, and then they give you a certificate of sponsorship for whatever role you are getting. So there are roles like a site manager. We call it, some people call it site foreman. So a site manager role can get you a sponsorship role because it is part of the occupations that are on these skilled worker eligible occupations. So let's say you are a site manager or you are a site supervisor, you can get a sponsorship role using following the skilled worker route. So you must make sure you check through those lists. Electrical engineers is also there. There are a lot of roles that are there that are related to construction that you'll be able to apply for sponsorship with. And then you got the minimum salary. A lot of construction roles, you get a salary that goes past the minimum salary anyways. And then your knowledge of English as well, which is required for the skilled worker visa. And then I put the link there for how to, when you are at that stage and you are looking to apply. So there are some construction jobs that a lot of people don't know that they are not called the same name, or how do I put it? It is, we call them differently back in Nigeria. So like traffic marshal, banksman. So as a banksman, you've got the crane banksman, the guys that bank the crane. So you do, after you get in your CSCS, you do another specific training to become a banksman. And then you could be earning upwards of £17 an hour to bank the crane. Because if you look across UK skyline, you see loads of cranes. So as the crane is lifting, it needs someone at the bottom to help to direct that person with the radio and say, move it this way, move it that way. And then you have the dumper driver, you have the forklift driver. The welfare laborer is the laborer that does the general cleaning on site. So you could be a welfare laborer for as long as the site exists. If you are able to get the job, it's a very, very messy job because you'll be doing general cleaning and all that, but it gives a long-term kind of work. And then you have the hoist driver. Before they install the lift on site, the hoist is what is used to carry materials from the top to the bottom, and hoist drivers get well paid as well. Construction security is another one that a lot of people don't pay attention to. Once you have your CSCS card and you have the SIA badge, which is the security badge, if you combine those two, you can work as construction security, just manning the construction site. In some places, they will give you some attendant work to do. That is also another way to earn. Chainman is the guys that assist the engineers. They help them to hold tape measure and do bits and pieces. I've worked as a chainman before as well. It's an opportunity to learn and jump into surveying and site engineering. And then you have the electrician's mate, the plumber's mate, which are the guys that help the electricians to hold their tools, to pull their cables and things like that. Shuttering carpenter, joiner, crane driver. So as soon as you get into the industry, you open your mind to all of these different kind of jobs that you can get into, and then you'll be able to navigate the industry, know what suits you, and make a plan from then on. I think that is the end of the slide. I'll take a couple of questions and then I'll just go straight into showing you how I'll generally look for work, how I'll read through job descriptions, and how I think you should construct your CV to put you in a better position. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. I'm going to snag the host function away from you and see whether your video is going to remain. Just a second. Okay, awesome. All right. So everyone, please, if you have questions, put them in the Q&A and not in the chat. The chats, there's a lot going on in the chat, so I'm not going to be able to keep up. We're not going to be able to keep up. So please make sure you put the questions in the Q&A. And if you want to speak, if you prefer speaking, please put your hands up. We have about 40 minutes, I believe. Yeah, we have about 40 minutes to get through all the questions. For all of you who are asking about the slides, we are going to share the slides by email to everyone as long as you registered. I believe everyone here registered. We'll send the slides to you via email and a recording of the webinar. Okay, so I guess we can go ahead with the questions. We can take about 5 questions in the Q&A that are open, and then jump to take about 5 hands that are up. All right, Mr. Toyyib, do you want to take over or?
Yes. Okay. I'll take the questions from the Q&A.
Yes.
Right. Oyeyemi Samuel, good evening. How can I get a job with my multi-trade card, please? I haven't finished with UK NARIC to get my certifications evaluated. Your multi-trade card, I want to understand what you mean by a multi-trade card. If you mean just the normal CSCS card, maybe let's say like a laborer's card, it depends on the role that you are applying for. As I said before, I'll do a small illustration now, how to see where you can look for the job, how you can search for the job, and then you'll be able to like understand what is expected of you, what the employers want, and what agencies you're likely to ring and tell them that you want a role. So I will also urge you, I mean, if you can finish up your UK NARIC evaluation, as soon as you do it, it just gives you that level that you want to be as soon as possible. You'll see the demonstration shortly when I do it. Prince Kude, apologies if I didn't pronounce that correctly. Must you be in the UK to apply for the CSCS card, or it can be done outside the UK? I doubt you'll be able to do it outside the UK, but if you go on that link, that CSCS UK link, just have a look to make sure. But I doubt you'll be able to do it outside the UK. Okay. Olukayode Ayodele, are there chances for anyone with no prior experience in the construction industry? Of course, yes. That is why we talked about the green laborer's card. As a laborer on site, if you are not a specialist laborer, as I was saying earlier, a specialist laborer is somebody that is, let's say, is an asbestos removal laborer, where you need a special training to remove asbestos, or you are a demolition laborer, where you need special training to learn how to demolish. Generally, most laborers, I mean, I started as a laborer with no prior knowledge. Most laborers are just told to move things around site. You know, once you understand training in terms of manual handling and things like that, you'll be able to move things around site comfortably. You'll be able to move rubbish around site. I mean, when I started, I was working with a lot of Eastern Europeans, and we were just clearing rubbish from moving things from site to site. And those were generally what we were doing. So there is opportunity if you do not have prior experience. But we must also understand that there are some jobs that can lead to sponsorship, and there are some jobs that cannot. You know, you are not going to get visa sponsorship if that is your plan as a laborer, you know, or as a traffic marshal. You know, those kind of jobs will not lead to sponsorship. The job that will lead to sponsorship are jobs that are a little bit high level, let's say like a construction supervisor or a site manager, assistant site manager, surveyors, those kind of jobs lead to sponsorships. We must always distinguish, say, am I just doing this job to earn money, or I'm doing this job to build experience for sponsorship? We must not forget that. Okay, Mr. Sam Naimeka, apologies if I didn't pronounce that correctly. I'm studying project management in the UK. Which role can you apply for in construction? Definitely, if you are studying project management, there are roles like assistant site manager, assistant project manager that you can apply for, you know, to start getting your feet under the, getting your feet into the industry. And as a project manager as well, we want to be very, very sure of which type of project manager do you want to be? You know, do you want to be a construction project manager, or do you want to be an IT project manager? Because all these industries, they also do project management. So if you are really, really interested in construction project management, I'll tell you to start looking at organizations like MCIOB, Chartered Institute of Building. Start looking into how you can put that project management into construction, you know, and start looking at the opportunities that are in assistant project manager roles in construction, site management roles in construction, and getting your feet in. You'll be able to get some experience under your belt as you are pushing for more bigger roles in project management. I am a carer, and I want to transit to construction as a slinger. How can I do that? Okay, if you are a carer and you're looking to transition into construction as a slinger, I will urge you to look at, it now depends, sorry, there is something vibrating here. So it now depends on, I would say, first of all, you need to come in and get the CSCS card, the green CSCS card. And then after getting the CSCS card, you now get the slinger training. You know, if you go on Google and say, they call it crane slinger training. You can always look at companies that do those training on Google and get that training done. Once you get that training done, you'll be given a card. So there are stages in competencies that come with experience. So you get one, I think you get the blue card first or the red card first. And then after a while, you'll be able to get the blue card. But it also depends on the visa you have, because once you start applying for slinger roles, they want to make sure that you have the right to work for a long time when they are trying to give you a job. Because when you are installing a crane on site, the crane will be on site for like 6 months, 9 months to 1 year. So if the visa bit is sorted, you can just go and get the slinger training and then start applying for slinger roles. We'll have a look at something like that as well now when we are looking to search for a job. What kind of role can one apply for with a white card? With a white card, you are academically qualified. So that means you can, the test that you did to get the white card as well is called the Management and Managers and Professionals card, Managers and Professionals test. That means with your academic qualification and that MAP test that you have done, now you have the white card, you should be able to apply for bigger roles, let's say like a site supervisor, or let's say like an assistant site manager, or let's say like assistant project manager. You'll be able to apply for those roles. But there are some other courses that you could do on the side that makes you even more appreciated by employment agencies or by employers. Okay, for example, as a site supervisor, there is another training called SSSTS, which is a Site Supervisors Safety Training Scheme. Once you have that training, that SSSTS training, coupled with your white CSCS card, when you are looking for jobs as a site supervisor, you will see that a lot of the jobs, they are asking for SSSTS. So it will be good for you to have it, add it to your white card, and then that puts you on a better standing. And also, if you're applying for site manager roles, there's another training called SMSTS, Site Manager Safety Training Scheme. Once you add that to your white card, it puts you on a better standing when you're applying for those kind of roles. Mr. Akin Oyelaki, the procedure for applying for the CIS card, that was in the slide. You'll get the slide as well if you missed that bit when we were running through it. Good afternoon. After I land my green CSCS card, how do I climb up to being a project manager? Okay. For me, it took quite a while because I didn't have educational qualifications. I had to go back to school to get some educational qualifications. So once you come in as a laborer, it depends on your person in terms of how much attention you are paying to details, how much attention you are paying to skills, how well you are understanding things. That speed, a lot of it depends on you, and it also depends on external factors. You know, external factors in the sense that, let's say you are working as a green card CSCS laborer, what other things are you doing on the side? What other training are you getting for yourself? Because if you stay on that CSCS green card laborer, a lot of people will not give you the opportunities to climb up. You know, I know a guy that used to be a laborer as well. We were laborers together, but today is now an assistant site manager. I mean, I was able to go up to project management and project planning. He's now assistant site manager. He's working on his MVQ black card now. Once he gets that black card, he will now move to site manager. And once he moves to site manager, a couple of years from then on, he'll be able to move to, let's say, assistant project manager or a project manager. So it really, really depends on you in terms of what you want to do after you get your green CSCS card. Are you going to step up to be a supervisor? Are you going to step up to site management? Are you going to take on more responsibilities? Are you going to challenge people and ask for more opportunities? And that is how you'll be able to get your way around. And also, you can also decide to do a trade, a trades training. Let's say you go and do electrician on the side, or you go and do plumbing on the side. You go and do an MVQ, get your MVQ done, get your role as a plumber, and then from plumbing, you become a plumbing site manager, and then you become an MEP project manager. It just depends. The route is very, very wide. There's a lot of things you can do in construction, but a lot of it will depend on you and how well you are looking to take up opportunities. Please, do they give sponsorship to jobs like crane driver as well? There is a possibility, but the thing is, you have to look for companies that, let's say like crane companies that are on the sponsors list. Those are the things you have to look for first. So let's say, I mean, I normally just go on Google and just straight to Google. The internet has been is loaded with so much information. So if you put like crane companies in the UK, you know, you'll be able to see lots of those companies. And then you can now go and check those companies on the sponsors register and see if they are on the sponsors register. If they are on the sponsors register, you will now try and get a job with them. You know, once you get a job with them, just a normal job with your present visa, hopefully you are still able to work on your present visa, maybe post-study work or something. Once you get a job with them, and then you will now go into the company and start talking to the hierarchy about sponsorship, you know, but you may not be able to get the job directly, if you get what I mean. You might need to come in first as a normal worker and then go in and ask for sponsorship.
I think at this point we should take some hands.
Okay.
I'm just going to open. I'm going to open the floor to Felicia Obeng. Just a second. Okay. Hi, Felicia.
Hi, Felicia.
Hi, Felicia. Okay. I believe she has had her hand up for a while.
Her hand is still up.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. We're just going to, since we're pressed for time, I'm just going to move on to the next person. I have Mukoro Victor. Hi, Victor.
Hello,
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Awesome. So what was your question for Mr. Toyyib, please?
Oh, I did not actually raise my hand for a question, no. Maybe because I just put it on mute as I was listening to it. So
Okay.
yeah, so someone else but correct. Oh,
You
Yeah,
sound
we are
like
here,
you
Mr.
have a
Victor.
question.
yes. I just want to greet Mr. Toy because when I got to the UK, I think that was February. It was through his page that I actually learned how to apply for my CSCS card as a laborer. And I currently work in the Northeast now as a laborer. So I just joined to get more information. So I just want to use the opportunity to just thank him because it was through his Twitter page. I actually did everything that I have to do, and I've started working for the past about a month now. So I don't really actually have a question. I just know that I raised my hand before. So with the information I've gotten, I'm trying to get my my supervisor card, SSC card, so that will be like maybe a laborer supervisor. So I just want to climb that way. So I don't really have a question. I thought it was a mistake there. So I
Thank
give
you.
opportunity to other people to get more information. But thank you very much, Mr. Toyib.
Thank you, sir. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Yes, well done.
Thank
Thank
you. Thanks. All right. So I'm going to move on to Bolan Adekoya. All right. The floor is yours. Can you hear us, or was that, you know what? I probably would just scroll to somewhere in the middle because some hands were up for quite a while.
Right.
So I'm just going to disable here. Okay. All right. I have Donald Onoha. Hi, Donald.
Hello, good evening from
Good evening.
wherever you are. Can you hear me, please?
Yes,
Yes, we can hear you. Yes.
Right. Good evening, the lady from Lemonade. I use Lemonade myself.
Awesome.
Happy birthday, Mr. Toyib.
Thank you.
I wish you the very best.
Thank you.
I am currently in the UK. I am already working as a site engineer on one of the joint ventures working on the HS2 project.
Amazing.
Yeah, I would like to um, get some ideas from you, seeing that you have been in the industry for a longer time. What could be the possible route, for progression in the construction industry? So I am currently, visa is not a problem. I am currently a site engineer. What could I do if I wish to progress in the construction industry? Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Donald. Congratulations on your role. Site engineering role is a very, very significant role in the construction industry, and it is very, very easy to climb further from site engineering role. So you now have to decide which path you want to go in, because as a site engineer, you already be looking after different kind of trades. On joint ventures, there will be a lot of packages. Maybe you start looking at now that you're a site engineer, you should start looking at let's say section engineer, and then section engineer, you now look at site agent, or a sub agent, and after sub agent, you look at site agent, and then from site agent, you'll be looking at project management. If you decide to stay on infrastructure, because now you are working in infrastructure, am I right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes. So in infrastructure, you have that stage. Say, if you are now a site engineer, you can move to section engineer. And there is not a lot different between what a site engineer and section engineer is doing. It's just that you are now taking on more responsibility. Maybe you understand construction programs. You are able to monitor critical parts. You are able to look after 2 or 3, 4 packages, Start pushing yourself towards that role. Let them know that you are capable of being a section engineer. You can also go online and start looking at section engineer. Look at the things that other companies want from a section engineer. So even if the organization that you are in now don't give you that role. If you already think you have those skills, you can start talking to other agencies on the side, because when there is shortage at the top, there's always enough opportunities for people that are site engineers and have broad shoulders to challenge and move forward to a section engineer role. And then from section engineer, you now look at sub-agent. And then from sub-agent, you look at agent. And then from agent, you'll be talking project management. So there is a lot of infrastructure is actually very, very big, because you have HS2, you have Hinkley Point C, you have all those big infrastructure projects that will last from now till the next 10, 15 years. So there's a lot of opportunity for you to start now as a site engineer and end up as a project manager in the next 6 to 7 years, if you get what I mean.
Yes, I quite understand. Thank you. So just something to add. Is there like are there like significant trainings? I understand the path, you know, the next my next aim would be to become a section engineer. But are there like significant trainings that would say, okay, I need to take this, I need to do that before I can then say, yeah, I have the abilities to take on the next role?
A lot of it are on the job. Now that you are in already as a site engineer, a lot of it are on the job in terms of, okay, for example, I was talking about construction programs. If you can have an understanding of how to use Microsoft Project, how to use Primavera P6 and things like that, understanding key project management words, let's say like critical path, let's say like, program key dates and things like that. You're able to look at a construction program. You're able to know activities that lead up to critical path, and just understanding those kind of things. And then SMSTS as well is very, very important for a section engineer. 3-day first aid is important for a section engineer as well, if you don't have that. And then having a general understanding of design, RIBA, plan of work, as they call it, say like from design to procurement to construction. So you're able to say, okay, we need this precast concrete. We need it to be here on the 1st of August. It's going to spend 3 weeks at the manufacturing plant. When do we need to order it? Once you are starting to make those kind of decisions, you are getting into a key position in construction industry where they can leave you to manage a piece of work on site. Let's say they say, okay, you are looking after the bricklaying package, you are looking after the electrical package, and then you'll be able to do it well.
Okay, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Lastly, please. I would contact you on Twitter because I would like. In fact, I have already contacted you via your DMs. I think that was sometime last year, but I know how busy you can be, so I didn't get any response. So I'll just leave you another message, probably in your free time. If we could just have some sort of conversation, I really appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem at all. Now keep flying. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Donald. So I'm going to sorry, I just need to scroll to somewhere in the middle. Okay, Emmanuel Osei Amwafo. Hi, Emmanuel.
Yeah, hello.
Hi.
Thank you so much, and birthday blessings, Mr. Toyyib.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I'm a mechanical engineer from Ghana. I've had about 4 years of experience in building services industry. Mainly, most of those years have been in consultancy, and then just a few have been on site. I'm currently in the UK doing my master's in business administration. I'll be done in September, God willing, but I just would want to, kindly get some advice from you on how to transition into the industry.
Okay, thank you, Emmanuel. You have got substantial experience in MEP consultancy. So what you would want to do is to start looking at organizations that are doing exactly what you have experience in, because there is a lot of design work that is happening here in the UK. And then you have a lot of companies like ARUP. I'm not sure if you heard of ARUP before, ARUP.
Yes, please, I have.
Yes, a lot of MEP design and they do a lot of consultancy. So if you just Google MEP design companies now, a lot of them will jump at you. And then you can start looking at the career section of their websites to see if they are looking for people that have the skills that you have already. And then you'll be able to start tuning your CV, to that effect and start putting yourself forward for those kind of opportunities. I'm looking at a situation where you finish your MBA and you are able to at least use the first year of your post-study work to get your foot into those companies and get some experience, some UK experience under your belt. One of the websites that I put on the skills provision, was it last week? They were talking about an MEP, I think it was MEP design something that had skilled worker visa sponsorship. So those are the kind of opportunities you want to be looking at now. If you are on CV Library, you want to be searching for companies that have jobs where you have experience, because you've already done the hard work. Now is the time to start looking at how to benefit from it.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Toyyib, and thank you for what you do on Twitter for some of us in the diaspora.
Thank you.
It's a good work. Talking about skills provision, I got to know about them from you, and the job you talked about briefly is the mechanical design engineer role, which I have applied though. But so I'm just looking forward to hearing from them and looking at the way forward. So thank you so much for
You're welcome.
Answering my question, and thank you, Lemonade, for this platform as well.
Thank you. So let's keep going hard. Let's do cold emailing, package your CV together, do cold emailing, send it to organizations that you know are doing exactly where you have experience. A lot of us only apply for roles we see. We don't see opportunities where we can send cold emails to organizations and then they will give us a chance. Oh, okay, we need someone with this kind of skills. People have done that time and time again and they've been able to get opportunities. So please, let's put that as part of our strategy as well.
All right, thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So we have about 14 minutes to go. And I see that there are over 100 questions. So I guess we can just take as many questions in the Q&A and then wrap up.
Okay. I plan to arrive in the UK. That's Lukman Adegoke. I plan to arrive in the UK this September. Please, can I do a CSCS training while still in Nigeria? So if you are coming as a dependent, I would say when you get here, it won't take very long for you to get your CSCS card, give or take a couple of weeks. I'm not sure of how you can do it from Nigeria, particularly the one-day health and safety training and then writing the test and then ordering the card. So I would say once you get in, follow the steps on the slide, you'll be able to get your card ASAP. And if you have some construction experience as well, it will help you so that you can apply for the white card if you have some construction experience. Thank you, Mr. Toyyib. I have a degree in civil engineering, but did not practice at all. I'm presently a settled UK resident. How do you advise I can get into the industry with your degree? With your degree, I would say let's apply for the white CSCS card. Once we apply for the white CSCS card, you can get some training, let's say like SSSTS or SMSTS and 3-day first aid, and then we start pushing for roles. We start looking at, it depends. Civil engineering can get you into several places. You can work as an assistant site manager. You can work as a site engineer. If you can use the EDM, you can use the total station. So you can also work as an assistant project manager. Let's look at those assistant roles first, and then you'll be able to get your foot in and gradually build experience. You can come in as a site supervisor as well. You can even come in as a laborer if you don't mind, just to get your foot in. And then once you get in, you start making moves, you start talking to people, you start getting experience under your belt. You'll see some people that look at you and say, so you've got a civil engineering degree. You should not be doing this kind of job. Come up, let's show you you'll be doing things, you'll be ordering steel, you'll be taking measurements, you'll be doing this kind of things, and then you'll be able to climb in through the door. Where, Abayo Mishagun, where will someone start from if you didn't study anything relating to construction in Nigeria and you are a dependent? That is what we said. You can come in and start as a laborer. You can start with your green CSCS card as a laborer. Once you get into the industry and you are now working as a laborer, you can start looking at which part of the construction is very big. You can now start looking at which part of construction do you like the most. Do you like mechanical? Do you like electrical? Do you like plumbing? Do you like painting? Do you like forklift driving? Do you like slinger banksman? So when you now get your foot in as a laborer, you can now go and start like an MVQ, because you are a dependent. You can go and start an MVQ, do like an MVQ level 2, get your foot in, because there are also different kind of dependents. There are some dependents that are dependents of international students, and there are some dependents that their spouse have gotten a skilled worker visa. So if your spouse has gotten a skilled worker visa, you just need to map out a growth path for yourself. Start as a laborer, look through and see which part of the industry you want. Then you can go and grab an MVQ as an electrician, get that MVQ under your belt, apply for an ECS card, and start working your route up as an electrician. You can do that for plumbing as well. You can do that for bricklaying as well. You can do that for scaffolding as well. It depends on what you eventually decide to choose once you get your foot into the door. Okay, I have a diploma in civil engineering. This series of professional course in project management. But okay, Google Project Management, I'll be in Birmingham in December. Can I apply for a CSCS card? Of course, you can apply for a CSCS card. You can apply for the white CSCS card. But now, once you now get the white CSCS card, you now need to look at quite a number of job descriptions and understand exactly what you would want to do, like an assistant site manager, assistant project manager. What are the skills that are required? You put your CV together and apply to those roles. Make a call to agencies. Like I said, we talked about the number of positions that are available now. When there is a lot of demand like that, it gives opportunity for people that are really, really keen, to get their foot into the door and prove themselves. When you get into a job and you are taking on more responsibilities, you are asking a lot of questions, people will take particular interest in you and help you further your career. I mean, when I was working as a laborer, people used to tell me I shouldn't be working as a laborer, because they saw that the kind of things that I was able to do, even working as a laborer. And that was how some people would say, go and do this course, go and do this course, go and do this, go and do this. And then from then on, you start growing and developing. As a carer who would like to switch into construction, I think we've answered this earlier. Please, I am a teacher in Ghana. What do I need to do to be employed in the construction industry in the UK? For you to be employed in the construction industry in the UK, you need to have experience in the industry. It will be very, very hard for you to want to come in as a teacher and not take additional qualifications, or unless, let's say you are on a dependent visa, when you come here, then you do not need to get that skilled worker visa straight away, if you understand what I mean. So that means you can come in, start as a laborer, and then grow in the industry because your visa allows you to do that. But if you want to get a skilled worker visa straight away from Ghana, it will be very, very difficult for you to want to apply as a teacher and say you want to go into the industry without any experience before, because you are applying for a skilled worker visa, which means it is someone that is already skilled in the industry that is expected to get that kind of visa. Okay, we spoke to Emmanuel. Can an HND holder with CSCS apply for the white card straight away? Yeah, if you have an HND and you pass the test, you should be able to get the academically qualified person card. But that HND certificate needs to be evaluated if it is not gotten from the UK. Okay. Can we bring someone one day to talk about food and pharmaceutical industries? We will look into that. food and pharmaceutical industry, Nestle, those are your organizations that you should be looking at. Please, for someone who doesn't have a degree from the home country, but now in the UK and after CSCS training and CIBB, what can such person do? You can come in as a laborer. But your visa is very, very important in this stage. You know, we're talking about the jobs that can give you sponsorship, the jobs that cannot give you sponsorship. If you don't need sponsorship at all, you can get a green CSCS card and come into the industry and decide what you want to do. If you want to do electrician, if you want to do plumbing, if you want to do laboring, if you want to do painting, if you want to do scaffolding, if you want to do bricklaying, those opportunities are there all around. But you need to get in by getting that CSCS card first and applying for roles, entry-level roles as a laborer. Please, can someone from Nigeria get a sponsorship currently on engineering? Yes, you can definitely get sponsorship. Gathering your experience and putting it on a CV, it's very, very important. You know, letting your CV showcase the experience that you have, and then you are now applying to companies that can offer sponsorship. That is a way someone from Nigeria can get sponsorship. How can I apply for CSCS card? You get that in the slide. Can you recommend colleges that offer NVQ for plumbers? There are a lot of it on the internet. Just put it in NVQ plumbing, you see loads of it. I think I'll just share my screen quickly just to showcase something. Okay. Zoom, share screen. Okay, can you see my screen, Fatima? You're on mute.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Okay. So if I come in, for example, CV library. So that's CV library now, and I'm looking for assistant site manager, and that is in, I'll just put as much miles as possible so that I can see as much roles as possible. So that's CV library, for example. So I can sort it by the most recent, you know, and I'll see, you can see that is a site manager role. It was just posted 2 hours ago, and they are offering 50 to 60,000 pounds. Does this job have sponsorship? Because I know these guys normally put, let me see. Okay, site manager role. So if you look at what they expect a site manager to be doing, reporting to contract managers, responding to assistant, responsible for the assistant site manager, you operate as the #1 on site. You assume, you know, coordinate subcontractors, do risk assessment and method statement. What do they expect you to have? They expect you to have SMSTS, which is part of the training we were talking about earlier. You know, you must have experience in managing sites in excess of £5 million. They expect you to have a big project experience, you know, high-end projects in the commercial sector, be able to work in Harrow. So that is a site manager role offering about £60,000 a year. If I come further down and look at assistant site manager now, that's £35,000 a year to £40,000. What do they expect you to do? You'll be doing health and safety on site, site induction, toolbox talks. Those are like things you can do very, very quickly. You have a desire to progress off the ladder. If you have a background in bricklaying or carpentry, you know, I was saying if you have a trade background, you can move into site manager role and you can progress from then on. So what you'll be doing, you'll be checking site reports, you'll be doing quality reports, you'll be reporting to the project manager, you'll be, you know, those kind of things are skills that you can build over time. These are kind of positions where someone can put you in, you know, and just pull you up if you are already taking this kind of responsibilities on site. You know, those are the things that can happen in construction. This is an assistant project manager role, 25 to 30,000 pounds a year. If you look through that and try and see what are the things that they expect you to have, they expect you to have experience of about 3 years, degree in architecture or engineering or surveying, excellent command of English. Come on, we are Nigerians. We have a command of English language. So reporting experience, a lot of things that you'll be doing as an assistant project manager is reporting. You can see experience in contracts. So you can start reading up on contracts. Even as a laborer, you can know what contract is all about, preparing yourself for this kind of big stage, So there are some things that you may have done before, like ability to offer technical and on-site support. Those are the kind of things that you may have done before that you may not know how to put it on your CV, managing critical deadlines, contractors, specialists, and tender parts. Tender parts might be a little bit difficult, but management of critical deadlines and contractors, those are the kind of things that you normally do, even if you are working in construction site in Nigeria, because every construction site has got a deadline. So those are the kind of things that I said, when you start reading through job descriptions, you will understand the kind of language they use in the UK construction industry, and you'll be able to make sure your CV speaks that kind of language as well, so that the agencies will not just put your CV aside and say, hey, we don't want this kind of person. So when I go through all of this and I see all these fresh roles, and I open all of them up and I read through them, and I'm looking at my skills, I can do an audit and say, okay, these are the things that I need to add to my CV so that I'm able to get into this kind of roles. So if we go into a more smaller role and say traffic marshal, traffic marshal. So you can see this is 5 days ago, most recent. That's a traffic marshal, someone that will just be directing cars into site, outside site, into site, outside site. They are paying £17 an hour. If you come down, that's a ground worker with a traffic marshal ticket, £200 a day. Traffic marshal, £15 an hour. So what do they expect a traffic marshal to do? Okay, banking traffic. So if lorry is coming in, you'll be doing your hand like this, move like this, go this way. That's what you'll be doing. You'll be cleaning the site. You'll be checking the drivers as they are coming to site, taking their receipt, tearing it off, giving them what they need to do. So they need you to have a valid CSCS ticket. You need you to have the traffic marshal ticket, 2 references for a previous traffic marshal position, minimum of 1 year as a traffic marshal, and full PPE. Let's say you have your hat, your boots, and all of that. And that's common with agencies. Some agencies want you to have boots and everything. So one thing I normally do, as I was saying, is that I normally look at the agencies that post the job, because those are the ones that I need to call. So if I see any job like this, I'll just click on that, open the name of the agency in a window, and then go to the agency's website, give them a phone call, or even look at other roles that the agencies have posted. You can see this one, they put it 3 days ago, project manager, £350 a day, section manager, site manager, £280 a day. Then I phone the agencies, I phone all of them. Look at this agency's 1 to Z list. I look through all those agencies, look at what jobs they have to offer, and ring them up. Some of them will say, come to our office, I have seen somebody from an agency help me adjust my CV before, because he wants me to get the job. Because they are also looking, because when they put a job up for £12 an hour, the agency is probably charging the organization maybe £17 an hour, and they are paying you £12 an hour. So they are also making money on every role that they put out there. So they also want you to get the job, So get there, put yourself out there, give them a ring, talk to them as much as possible. There is so much roles in construction. It is unbelievable. CV Library themselves, they are talking about how many live roles that they have, So let us do this as much as we can. It's a shame we are rounding up, but once you get the slide, get onto the slide, go through the slide, go through those links, push on this website, Total Jobs is another good one. If you go on Total Jobs as well, They have loads of roles in construction. That's how I normally search for sponsorship job. I just put sponsorship and then I go through it. You can see recommended jobs. Set your alarms in so that when they get a job, they send it to you, and then you're able to look at the latest jobs that they've got on their website. So this is like senior project engineer, electrical. What do they expect you to know? About the role, design of electrical building services, tendering and coordinating design activities. You know, these are for someone that has consultancy knowledge, like our brother, I think it was Emmanuel, we were talking about earlier, 4 to 5 years experience, ideally in design consultancy environment. You see, this kind of speaks to that our brother that came in earlier, experience in AutoCAD and that. So when did they post the job? Recently. So you can get in touch with this agency, speak to them, ask them. You may not be suitable for the present role, but when another one comes in, they will talk to you because they've already spoken to you before. So that is how we will continue to push hard, we will continue to leverage, but that slide will give you the basics of what you need to know. And hopefully we can have probably a follow-on seminar soon, and then, you know, we just want to keep trying our best and keep growing. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I was going to suggest just the same thing. There's so many questions that are left pending, and then there's so many hands, but we've run out of time. I think we're already 5 minutes over time. We'll probably organize a follow-up. It could be on Twitter or it could be on Zoom, something that we would still discuss eventually. Thank you all so much. There's still 208 of you here. Thank you for staying all through.
Thank you.
You've all been awesome. Please don't forget to sign up on Lemonade Finance if you haven't signed up already, and use the referral code webinar, and you stand a chance to win £50 if you make your first transaction from £100 and above, for those of you in the UK. So we're going to round it up here. My name is Fatima again. My name is Fatima Habib, and I work with the growth and marketing team at Lemonade Finance. Thank you, Mr. Toyyib. You've been wonderful as usual, and everyone have a nice evening.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Bye for now.
Bye.